Promotional Marketing Group. It is Friday, at least I think it is. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Going to do this one with a beverage. I hope you do at home too. If you're like me and you're quarantining on week number 63 right now, you just can't keep track of the days anymore. So so happy and honored and privileged to have two of my favorite people here. I'd like to introduce the co-owners of the Grayscale agency, Tinslee and Eric Alder.
Hi, guys.
What is going on? All right, so this is episode 7, I think, of Trusted Herd Live. Just to give you all a brief little overview, we started this early last week, and we have one agency lined up every single day of the month for April, and now I actually opened up the first week of May because we've had a couple reach out that were like, hey, I'm really enjoying these, so I want to tell my story too. So this is the whole idea, is you see these agency names out there, but we don't know much about them other than, hey, we want to work. We want that $22 an hour. And I thought this would be a great way for us to hear a little bit about the background and the story of the people and the companies and how they came to be. So with that being said, hi, I see you, Facebook user. Feel free to share this wherever you want in your favorite groups. This is going to be a really good one. Tinslee and Eric, let's talk about nothing to do with events to begin with. If you are not doing events and you weren't being quarantined, what would you be doing? What are your hobbies? What do you guys like? Eric, why don't you start?
Well, I'm a big golfer myself. I'm wearing my Tiger Sunday red polo. When you want to win, you win. You wear your red. So I'm a big golfer. Love movies, games. Try to get out as much as we can and really just do as much as we can outside. So it's been kind of an awakening to not be able to be outside as much as possible and have to just embrace what we're doing and support it in any way we can.
Yeah. How about you, Tinslee?
Oh, I golf as well. We love doing that together. And then we love the water. We're big paddleboarders and surfers. And this year we kind of tried it. We're trying something different this year. We're trying to relax. So this whole thing has actually been kind of a blessing in disguise for us, I think, because ever since, January rolled around, it's been our goal to really just get good at not doing anything. So we're really learning the whole meditation, relaxing, and, that's crossed over well with this whole new
absolutely. No, it's been a good experience for us, and we learn a lot about ourselves and each other at the same time. So you can't really complain with that.
But we miss the water, we miss the spas, we miss the restaurants and brunch.
Everything. For the people who have no idea, because we've now done a couple of these episodes. One was from Connecticut, one was from here in Chicago, actually, too. Where are you guys videoing in from today?
We are self-isolating here in Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, which is not so entertaining these days as everything's quiet. Everything's canceled. We're enjoying it, though. The weather's actually been really good the last couple of days. So
we've seen a whole new side of the town. It's been lovely. I mean, we lived downtown for almost 5 years, and we've been walking around neighborhoods with the dogs, on walks where we've never seen before. So it's been kind of cool. We see he's born and raised here. I've been here since 2012, I think, and it's given us a chance to really spend some fun time with each other and see places in the city we haven't seen before. So And
because there's no sports going on, I mean, I'd be really remiss not to ask about it. Tinslee, any big sports stuff happen in your world in the last few months?
It's only been the biggest year of my life that I've been waiting for forever. No, I've been a lifelong, I guess, I'm a Chiefs fan. It's a blessing and a curse. We finally got our
blessing. It's an absolute blessing.
Finally got it. All right, so let's see here. And real quick, I'll tell you like a quick story about. I was out in Vegas for Event Marketer Summit and hung out with Tinslee and Eric. We went to Top Golf. We had a lot of great drinks. We had a lot of great apps and food. And we get to the tee box, and I'm winning, right? And then Eric steps up at the last swing and just hits one that's like goes all the way to the stratosphere. And I think he was sandbagging me the whole time.
No, it was that last tower of beer we had, I think, is what
For sure, for sure. All right, cool. So we got a little bit about both of you. Let's jump into the event stuff. Like, if I had just met you and I didn't know anything about your business or what the Grayscale agency even was, how would you explain it to somebody? Tinslee, why don't you go?
I think that the biggest thing that I like to talk about whenever we just briefly explain what the company does is the fact that we're an event production company that follows everything from A to Z. You know, a lot of people need specialized things when it comes to their needs, but we can handle everything from A to Z. And the thing that makes us different is we really are great at all of it. We make sure to surround ourselves with people and with the top staff in the industry just to make sure that we're not just offering our services because we can. We're offering our services because we feel like we offer the best that's out there. Whether it's the staff or whether it's our event management production team, we really take pride in, we always say it's kind of silly, but there's no option for failure with us. There's a lot of clients that have come to us that are surprised when we say that, which makes my heart hurt a little because it means that they have experienced failure in the industry, but they really like the fact that, you know, there's no failure here and we're here to help and we can do it all. So that's kind of what makes us different.
Yeah. And before we got to doing the Grayscale agency, and even before you guys got into the event world, what were you doing with your lives? Eric, what were you up to?
Well, so originally I did a lot of sports work. I've worked at sports facilities. I've ran youth programs, adult programs, camps, clinics. I worked for a sports apparel company for a little over a year as a North American sales rep out of the Dominican Republic. A lot of what I did was a very sports-heavy background, which gave me kind of an insight to the different realm of events and to see everything from a different perspective. So when I got into events, it was an easy transition for me to make to go from the sports world to the entertainment world to the convention world, because while they are all completely different, they're all operated the same. There's a lot of teamwork that comes into play. There's a lot of, situations that can arise that you have to be ready for and just improvise a lot. So for me, it's always been sports since I can remember. It made sense for me when I transitioned into this.
Yeah. And Tinslee, how about yourself? I mean, what were you doing before you got into the event world?
I was in management consulting. So I have my own management consulting business where I specialized in the plastic surgery industry, tanning salon industry, more aesthetics salon-wise. It was an industry that had taken a pretty big hit over the last 10 years, ever since the Botox tax, that had started in the tanning industry. So those owners had been looking for, a way out, a way to make money again and to really kind of revamp their what they did. So I capitalized upon that and made a lot of really good connections, a lot of really good friends, and I loved doing that. I traveled and met some really great people and had some good experiences.
Yeah, and then do you remember your first experience in the event world? What it was?
Yeah, I was in a really small town in Missouri, and I was at a gym that I actually had worked in a tanning salon. I was one of the managers of the tanning salons there, and the Red Bull promo team had come to give away some Red Bulls, and I came outside and got them set up, and I was like, "Is this a job?
Yeah,
You're making money to do this?" And I was young, and I was like, I'm going to do that too. So I did, and it was so much fun. It was just a great way to break into the industry and kind of start at the ground level and really have some fun at some Missouri events.
Right. Did you have an opportunity to drive the little Red Bull vehicle?
Those that know me know that I'm not really into driving. I mean, I drive. I can do it. I have a driver's license. I have a car. I just hate it. So anytime that there's a volunteer to drive a car, it's never going to be me. So no.
Okay. Eric, how about you? Before you got, what was like your first taste of kind of like true events, not necessarily sporting stuff?
I can tell you the first event I actually worked in a brand ambassador role was actually at First Friday here in Las Vegas. Gosh, probably 7 years ago. Just had somebody reach out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to make a couple quick extra bucks? We're going to hand out these flyers for this concert that's coming to town." I said, "I'll go out and I'll give it a shot." And I remember what was interesting for me the first time I ever did it was I showed up. I had done my research on the band, when they were playing, the last time they played in Vegas, and I was asking all these questions to my team lead, and they were going, well, I don't know, I just hand out as many of these as I can. And I'm going, well, you don't talk to people? Like, how is this supposed to work? Like, so, and it was a weird experience for me on the first one, but just being outdoors, especially at a festival like First Friday, and talking to all these people and getting them engaged and getting them excited. For some people who had never even heard of this band were incredibly interested about going to this next show. So that was my very first one promoting. And again, I was looking for something to do on a Friday night, and somebody said, hey, you want to make a couple quick extra bucks with me? And I said, yeah, let's go do it. So
yeah, that's my exact same story too. That also happened in Vegas. That was my entry, handing out flyers. Okay,
we've all done it.
We've all been there, right? Got to get that foot in that door somehow. All right, so doing events. You both are in Vegas now. At what point do you go, we should start a company?
That was all hers. I'll let her answer this one.
It was one of those things where I had kind of transitioned out of what I was doing, and the entire time I was in management consulting, I had always missed my trade show days, and I really, truly enjoyed the time that I spent getting to learn brands and, experiencing different shows and people and events.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that I never fully wanted to leave. I just felt that I had gotten to a point where I was maybe too old to be standing in a booth and smiling for 10 hours. It was getting kind of hard, and I wanted to transition to, I've always been more of a girl behind the camera instead of in front of the camera anyway. And I wanted to really kind of put what I had learned from working with all the different brands to use. And one of the things that I guess I was struggling with was I was trying to find a company to give my talents to. I was trying to find a company. It was never my intention necessarily to open up an agency. I thought I would be better served to come in and work under somebody. And I tried. I started working for a couple different agencies. I settled on one in town, and I thought I found a good home. It's actually where Eric had worked. That's how Eric and I met. They specialize more in the street team guerrilla marketing aspect.
Okay.
Experiential marketing, and I came in and they wanted to kind of build more of a promotional modeling and alcohol program, and that's what I came in to do. So when I developed the program, I loved it. I thought that it was really great because, especially in the alcohol world, I think people who do a lot of demos and dabble on alcohol will understand it's a coin flip. You are going to have an agency that either really, really, really cares about the brand and the product that their staff members are representing, or you're going to have an agency that's really invested in getting that check. And you can see those people. When you walk into a total line as just a representative showing up to work your 3-hour shift, you can see men and women that don't care. And I wanted to find a home, and I wanted to find a place where people cared about the staff that was in there. I felt like it was more of a, once you got the check, once you got it scheduled, and once somebody signed a contract to do it, most companies are like, phew, okay, thank goodness, on to the next.
Right.
And I feel that your job is just starting there. And that's what I wanted to find. I unfortunately couldn't find it in any of the agencies that I worked with. So it became one of those things where I was sitting there and I just decided, I felt that, especially since I spent years in management consulting, telling people how to open up their businesses and make them successful, if I was willing to do this for the industry, then I was really selling the industry and myself short. So it's kind of something I decided to do to not fix the industry, but get the industry back to where it used to be.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And then, Eric, when did you enter into that fold?
I forced.
I had left.
So fast.
I had left the old agency and started working with a sports team here in town, and I was watching her just grow and grow and grow exponentially. And the place I was working at, there's pros and cons of everywhere you're at, and the negatives started to outweigh the positives. And she just kept every single day, when are you coming over? When are you coming over? And I watched it grow, and eventually I just looked at myself kind of in the same scenario and said, I know what we're capable of individually, so imagine what we could do if we put our full mindset to it. From there, and it worked out. I left the other company and started just doing some little things here for her, and grew and grew. And I mean, from the business side of it, it's been a very, very, I don't want to use the word daunting task sometimes, but it can be. So it's been great to have somebody who's so dedicated and committed to always maintaining that level of excellence.
It's a huge industry. You have to have a team, and if you don't trust the team that you have around you, then I mean, what do you have really?
Yeah,
So,
right. You're only as good as your teammates around you, right? Or your weakest link, as they say. And I think it's so. I always like the dynamic of co-founders, right? Because typically there are strengths and weaknesses, and I don't say weaknesses in a bad way, but like that's where the other person has their strengths, right? And that's when you get really, really good teammates. So
necessarily everything that I hate to do, he loves to do, and vice versa. And I just felt it was silly not to capitalize on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we start, and just to let everybody know, Tinslee, because this isn't necessarily a question we typically ask, but it does come up, and we've had some agencies who have been doing it a really long time. When did the Grayscale agency? When did you found it?
I founded the Grayscale agency in 2016.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, we met probably right around that time, if not shortly after. And I've just, being on the outside looking in, you guys have grown so much, and it's been really rewarding. And I think that's almost like the purpose of these Trusted Herd Lives is like, look, everyone has their own story, right? And how they get to certain points. And you can't get here on that story until you start here, right? So, a little congratulations on a good 4 years so far.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, so
actually, we're kind of right there on the same timeline there. So
yeah, we are very close. Where did the Grayscale agency name come from?
When she originally started the agency, she came to me and said, "What do we call it? What do I call it? I didn't need a name." And we had both talked numerous times about how events work, and that there's so many minute details that go into an event that a lot of people forget about. And especially when my experience in sports, if the ball's not inflated the right way, the whole thing can collapse. The game doesn't start. So I said, I was looking at something, I think I was at Home Depot actually, and I was looking at, for some reason, color palettes. And what stood out to me was the grayscale. You have black and you have white, and the grayscale is every color of white, gray, of every shade of gray possibly imaginable.
Yeah.
In between black and white. And we came up with the Grayscale agency, and our slogan of events are in black and white. We cover everything in between.
I like it. That's great. If you didn't have a company already, I would just say right now you should start a company named the Grayscale Agency. I really like that explanation.
We'll diversify. We'll diversify. It'll give me plenty of reasons to come up with new names. I enjoy that.
And then how about the logo? Is there any meaning behind the logo, or any specific place that it came from?
I don't like things like those details when it comes to our company. When it comes to logos and the name of it, it was like I had everything else worked out. There's so many other important details. So to be honest with you, we just repurposed one.
That's okay. That's all right.
We're going to rebrand eventually, but we want it to be simple too. Like, I love the simplicity of it. I don't have a lot of color in my home. I don't have a lot of color around. It makes me feel calm and quiet and relaxed and able to create. And I don't know, I think that's what I think about it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's actually the first answer, I believe, on Trusted Herd Live that's talked about color tones and their impact and meaning. And so I like it. Always bringing something new. All right, so we got logo, we got company name. How about the first client? Do you remember where it came from, how it played out?
Yeah, that's right.
Our first client, it's actually a fun story, and it's part of, I know we talk about growth a lot. It was actually a big part of our growth too. We had been open for about 72 hours, and we landed this client, and he's turned into just be somebody that we truly enjoy and love working with. It's a family business, and they needed trade show models. And they do a handful of trade shows around the country, but then they also wanted to start doing something that I didn't feel I was prepared for at the time. They wanted to start doing daily staffing, which is now something that is our bread and butter. Where we have a lot of our success is the fact that we don't just staff trade shows, but we staff for clients and individuals that need daily staff members Monday through Friday or 7 days a week in their places of business. And this is kind of what he wanted to branch out and start. At the time, I just didn't feel prepared for it, and I felt incredibly uncomfortable taking on a job that I felt I might fail at. So I did end up basically giving him to another agency owner in town, and I passed him off to her just because I felt like she would be better suited for that. The story is funny because I don't like to talk about negativity in our industry, but it is important. And that's one of the reasons we started our agency, is because we felt like there are a lot of agencies out there that take the check and then they're on to the next. And I think I mistakenly did pass him off to somebody that was more like that and didn't pay as close attention to detail. And he ended up coming back to us a few months later, and he said, you know, Tinslee, I don't care if you're unprepared for this. I don't care if you don't do this in your company. We trust you. Our family trusts you and your work ethic, and we want you to do it anyway. And to me, that was just one of those things where I messed up. You know, I passed him on to somebody who was ill-equipped for the job, and where they should have lost all faith in us, they didn't, because they knew that's not what we were about. And it's just kind of funny that they were our first client, because we grew a lot with that client. We completely changed our business model because of what we provided them. And it taught us a lot about ourselves too. So they're still with us to this day, and we love him. We love the whole family. They're great.
I really, really like that that's the first client you learned so many lessons from just that one interaction, right?
It really gave us the boost of confidence to know that we don't have to know exactly what they're asking for. It doesn't have to be something that we have done before. And I know many agency owners can attest to this too, even you, Brian. When somebody comes to you in the industry now, I feel like we're much more confident in our position. In 2016, we weren't, but now I know that we can do anything a client needs. We've surrounded ourselves with the partners and the people to be able to deliver on anything. At that time, we weren't, and it was kind of silly to look back and see what little confidence we had. But it's great that we didn't bite off more than we can chew, and I think that that's always one of my favorite stories. So I love that.
No, I really like that. I do want to ask a follow-up question on that, because I've heard it go both ways, and I'm curious your opinion, considering it started this way. Is it okay sometimes as a business owner to say no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's imperative. I think, especially in that case, am I disappointed that I didn't just bite the bullet and learn how to take care of that client? 100%. But that doesn't mean that you won't be asked to do something that you're not prepared to do. And the thing I love about this industry is we don't have to be competitors. Every single agency owner can work together. There's more than enough work. There are more than enough niches. There are more than enough things for us to all do here. So if there's something that we're not the best at, I have no problem saying no and giving them to the person who is.
That's great.
We're in this industry, Brian, and I think you know that. We're not in this to go on vacations and to pay for our retirement. We're truly in this to help the industry and make it better. And if we don't do that, and if we pass on things and put people in the right place, that helps further the industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said of coming from a service background and even just being a brand ambassador and knowing what you go through, right? And who was it yesterday? Brittany talked a little bit about every place that she went, she was able to pick up something, right? And that was just one of those things that you get into this line of work because you really love it. You enjoy it. You like being at events, and you like seeing that interaction and a happy client, and your workers that you've hired are happy too. And it's like this one big great moment, right? And it's like those are the moments that you live for in doing this. It's not, but outside of those moments, you have the hey, I just got this text message at 6:45 a.m. This worker is supposed to be there at 7, and they're not going to be able to make it, because there are those moments, right? And that's part of the job too. But I just always felt that the successful moments, those they really make they make our industry. They make why you do this. So yeah. Okay, so you have this one first client. They come back to you. was it them in coming back to you and doing this daily staffing, or was there another client where you guys turned to each other and you go, this is getting pretty serious. Like this is a big win for us, or this is a big program that we're staffing.
It's a hard question for us.
Well,
yeah.
Honestly, every client, no matter how big or small, we feel is a win.
We don't really have a mentality where one client can make you or break you. And I think that especially in these times, that's important because there are a lot of agencies out there where one client does make them or break them. And their entire program and ability to pay their staff are based on one client. I would never want to get us into a position like that. I think it's incredibly important to diversify your portfolio, to have multiple different streams of income. And for us, for example, whereas the event industry is taking a toll right now because we have these daily staffing positions, once these states aren't on lockdown anymore, those jobs will go back to normal and we'll have those positions rolling back in again. If we hadn't done that, we might not be in the same position, So I think it's incredibly important.
Yeah. No, that's a really good outlook to have. So in these 4 years, you guys have grown. Team is obviously important because, as the acronym goes, together everyone achieves more. There is no I in team. There is a me, but we won't talk about that. So let's talk about the Grayscale team. Like, who else is around you? Who else is helping out? What do you got?
We have a wonderful team. I think with the exception of our CPA and our money side, those people are hired on because they are exceptionally amazing at building, something from nothing. And they do a great job on our financial side. With the exception of that side, every other person that's on our team, we've made it a 100% no wavering prerequisite that you have to have multiple different types of experience in the event industry. Yeah. We've had so many experiences where we hear booking coordinators that are just hired because they were really great receptionists. And I'm sure that's a wonderful skill, that would help with that. But our entire team, whether it's our market managers, Emily, like everybody on our team. Ourselves included, we've started, we've all done labor. We've all done street team. We've all done guerrilla marketing. We've all had great customer service experience. We want to make sure that whoever we promote in the team, we promote from the teams that they will one day be supervising and building. That's incredibly important to us. And I don't care who you are. If we meet somebody off the street who is has the potential to be the most amazing employee in the world, you need to put in a couple of years of working in our teams and working with our clients before we feel that you'll have the skills you'll need to be able to manage this correctly. It's
also why we still do events ourselves, and we try to work as much as we can side by side with as many of our teammates as we have. We like to be in the field. We like to get our feet wet. We like to get our hands dirty, and so we can understand when their problems arise. We know exactly what they're going through, and it helps our team. It helps us all respect each other more, not just them respect us. Or it's all of us respecting each other, and we like to know that people have that experience with us.
We are not above flying in, and a lot of our staff members and our clients will talk about this. If somebody hires 20 people from us, a lot of times you're getting 22. You're getting 2 people for free, and we're going to come in and work right along next to them. Yeah. The first time we work with a client, it's incredibly important that Eric or me or Emily or someone works with them at that event, because otherwise there's absolutely zero way that we can know exactly what they need and anticipate what they'll need in the future. We want to see the client work in the field with what they're asking us to do, and that's really important to us. So whether it's me or Eric or Emily or we fly in, we come see you, and we usually serve as a free staff member or a free planner for a little while, just until we get a better sense of exactly what the client wants.
That's it's so powerful in that it's really two-pronged, right? It's one, you have that understanding because you're there, right? And you can see both sides of that field. But two, my background, I started almost 5 years with Marriott. And I remember J.W. Marriott wrote this book, and it was encouraged that all employees read it, and it was about service and everything. But there was this chapter that talked about, I would never ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
I believe in that. That has been a philosophy of mine since I was first started working at the age of 16 years old at a movie theater here in town. I would never ask a teammate of mine to do something that I was not willing to do myself.
Yeah.
There's no better way to lead.
Right. I'm a firm believer myself as well that standing next to somebody, working next to them, regardless of title, regardless of position, is so important. And it just goes to show, hey, we're all in this together, right?
Mhm.
We're all going to accomplish this together. Cool. That was deep, and I liked that.
I like it. I love the deep stuff.
Right. Okay.
And out here, get our.
Is there anything along the way that intangible traits that you two feel like, hey, I think we're doing okay because I might be a little bit better at this, or anything along those lines? Good habits?
From our staff members, or from us, or
From you personally, yeah.
I think we talk about this all the time. Consistency is the biggest thing. Consistency, appreciation, and respect, I think, are the things that's what attracted to him as a business partner, for sure, because I shared those things as well. But I think we're very consistent people. Once we find something that works, that's all we do.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's important. I think a lot of people could have much greater success than what they have, but they gloss over their successes and they forget to replicate those. And they think they have a better idea, or they want to try something new, when in all reality, they really just needed to polish up the success that they've already capitalized on. So I think that's important. A lot of people forget about consistency.
Yeah. And in that consistency, would you say, like, if your current day business self was to tell your younger self 4 years ago when you started the Grayscale agency, is there anything that you know today, right now, that, hey, God, I wish I would have told myself that 4 years ago, is maybe we get to where we're at a little bit quicker?
I think for me personally, it would be to not beat myself up over the little things. I spent so many years as an athlete working in sports where you had to go into every game and be on your best. Otherwise, it could be your fault that something happens. You give up a goal because of a sloppy pass, or you're beat on a long touchdown for some reason. And just remind myself and tell myself, hey, just because something didn't work at that given moment, it's not the end of the world. Everything's going to be okay. Tomorrow is a new day. The next hour is a new hour. Get your head straight. Get back focused on what you need to get done to be successful the next time. And it's a good lesson, I think, for anyone in our industry is, you know what, you had a rough day. You didn't get as many activations out as you thought you were going to. You didn't hand out as many flyers as you thought you were going to. Don't beat yourself up about it. Go out there and understand why, and talk to yourself. And maybe it was because of this or that. But don't hang your head, And I was the biggest. My dad used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, any sport I was playing, if I missed a basket or a goal, I would throw my hands up and I'd shake my head. And my dad's like, get back in the play. What are you doing? Yeah. Get back in the play. Don't beat yourself up over it. And understand that tomorrow brings a new challenge.
Yeah. And similar, Eric, like I grew up playing endless sports, right? Everything except football because I was 3 foot nothing at 50 pounds. But, I think it's easy to learn that lesson in sports, and it sounds like maybe we have the same dad. We'll have to check on that later. But when you do get into the event world, it is you're immersed at so many different locations, so many different challenges, so many different clients, different things that you can't control, right? And I hold myself to that highest standard. And I have been at events myself where I can think of like 2 or 3 where I just felt like I got steamrolled, right? And you're gonna have those days. And I think that's the most important thing to remember about industry or holding yourself to high standards. It's like you're not gonna be out there every single day batting 1,000, right? But you can learn from those, and you can always look back on those moments and go, what could we have done a little bit differently that would have made this day easier for us as a team, for me individually, right? And you can try to control those external influences. So, Tinslee, anything?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, real quick advice is don't look at your losses as a loss. Look at them as a learning experience.
Yes. That's what we've been doing for 11 years as White Sox fans, Eric, right?
Absolutely, yeah. This was supposed to be our year.
Right? I know. Tinslee, anything for you? Anything you would have told yourself maybe 4 years ago that would get you quicker?
Same thing. I think that the biggest thing I wish I would have known is if I have 24 hours of work, I don't need to do that all in the first 24 hours. It's better if you plan ahead and pace yourself and you just don't sweat. Like you said, you're not going to be batting 1,000 every time, so you can't beat yourself up if something happens. But if you plan ahead and you plan accordingly, then those times will happen fewer and far between.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So we've talked a little bit about the Grayscale agency, your backgrounds, where we're at today. How about event workers? Because there's people watching it right now. There's people that are going to watch it later. We're going to share it in some groups later too. What's one piece of advice that you would give in general to an event worker?
Make yourself big. Make yourself stand out for the right reasons. Don't do anything half. If you're preparing a resume, make it bright and put your picture on there. Make it something that'll stick out. If you want to be the best in the industry, make yourself the best in the industry. Find those tools. I think the things that we look at are the people that stand out, which is what we're just talking about, but also the people that interact with others in the industry, the people that are always wanting to learn more and trying to surround themselves with people that are better than them. So we might not always, I'm not the best when it comes to, Facebook and social media. I'm not as good as Erica or you, Brian, but I do want people to know that I see you guys. We see you out there. We see you interacting and we see you helping others. And that's the things I look for. If we see somebody out there helping people, especially in this time with what's going on right now, it makes me think they're going to be willing to help our team once they're actually in the field too. So I love watching the interaction. Make yourself stand out and interact well.
I think it's important to remind yourself as an event worker, you are your own brand. Just as an agency has to sell their services to a client, you have to be able to sell your services to an agency. So brand yourself, make yourself known, be out there. If you think that there's something you can do to make yourself stand out, then by all means, go for it.
Yeah.
Again, you are your biggest source.
Mm-hmm. And right now, we just released this feature on Trusted Heard called Endorsements. So, go out and the people that you believe in, that are good workers, jump on there. It takes like 20 seconds to add an endorsement for somebody. But we just added it where companies can also now endorse workers. So we'll send an email out next week. But it's like this amazing way that you can separate yourself from just a single piece of paper, right? I think what you said, it would really trigger it is the surround yourself with good people, right? People that care. So the Grayscale agency sounds pretty good. Like I'm ready to sign up. I want to work for you guys. How would I do that as a worker? What do you look for? I think you actually kind of talked about it already, but where can I sign up for you?
I feel like we've been on the Trusted Heard bandwagon since you started this, Ryan. It's so important to us, and I think again one of the things that sets us apart is anyone can find staff. When it comes to the staffing aspect of event production, anyone can find staff. That's not hard. Yeah. Finding the right qualified staff is an impossible job sometimes, and you've made it to where it's incredibly easy for us. So, I mean, the whole reason that sets us apart is that staff and that attention to detail, and you've made it very easy for us to go on there and see which workers have that attention to detail. So we use Trusted Heard, pretty much entirely. We do have a couple different, like we were talking about our daily staffing jobs where we might put those out in different arenas too. But primarily we only take applications through Trusted Heard. We love that you've posted them on the Facebook groups now too, but we love that we can actually go onto the Trusted Heard platform and see who are the top rated workers. And now we can actually see the endorsements from other workers and agencies as well. So, I mean, we'd have to, talk a little bit more with Emily about that, but I know that she's really, really relying heavily on those Trusted Heard profiles. So we still want to meet you before we work with you. So we still will, schedule a Skype conversation or a FaceTime conversation just so that we can meet you personally. But we're going to source and find you guys first through Trusted Heard.
Cool. That was an unsolicited plug. I appreciate that.
Well, it's been so great. It's been so great. We've literally able to exponent because so much time and energy
Do we still got you guys? We'll wait here for a minute to see if this comes up. If you're just joining us, we're here with Tinslee and Eric from the Grayscale, talking a little bit about their entrepreneurial background and their story. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. You cut off a little bit there, Eric. So just really quick, and you're back.
Setting change. It didn't setting change, just in case that was it. So, like I said, Trusted Herd has been great because it saves so much time and energy. We can commit that time and energy to the trainings, relationships with our clients, relationships with our staff, making sure that all of our ducks are in a row before we walk into an event.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I love it. I love when workers get found. I love when workers find great agencies because all the reviews, and I know you guys are right up there for a reason over the last few years. So keep it up. And what else? What else? A lot of businesses can start at this moment. Coming out of 2008, 2009, there were a lot of companies that we know today. If there was anyone who was thinking about starting a company right now, whether it's in the event world or elsewhere, is there any advice that you would give them?
With who you're working with and your goals and ambitions. In our industry specifically, there's so much work to be had out there that we've never felt it's competitive. So go into it, even if there's another agency that you're working for or working against. Just know that you have to be honest with yourself and honest with the people that you work with and the people that you work for. Otherwise, it will come to light.
I think you need to choose something that you truly love too.
That's very true.
Yeah, if it's not something that you really enjoy, it's not going to sustain. And I think it's hard. One of the things that we every single morning, and we love our life. We love the life we get to wake up to. We love, the office we get to go to. We love the people we work with, and that wouldn't be possible if we chose something we didn't enjoy so much. So definitely choose something you love, because that's the only way you're going to be able to do it forever.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta have passion in what you do daily. Okay, so we have a audience question that came. Let's see here. I want to read this out, but say it properly. So let's say you're working a large event, and this is more feedback or advice column right now. You're working a large event as a brand ambassador, and you have other a bigger team of BAs, and you see some people that aren't necessarily pulling their weight. Sorry. If you were in that worker's position, what would you do? Would you raise your hand? Would you tell somebody? Would you try to talk to the workers? You guys got any advice on that?
You just lead. If you feel like somebody isn't doing the work the way that it should be, then you work even harder. Lead by example. I think the one thing that's unique about our industry is when we work in big groups, yeah, we're a team, but it's all still very competitive. When there's a group of 20 brand ambassadors, there's probably going to be 10 of them that want to be that best person. And I think that instead of creating issues, instead of creating drama, and instead of going to the client or your manager, it's so efficient just to lead by your actions.
And believe me, it is incredibly noticeable. We try to be out as much as possible and get as much feedback as we can from everybody who's worked. It is noticed. Even if you think it's not being noticed, if somebody's not pulling their weight, or if you feel like you're doing way more than everybody else, it is noticed by your event manager, by us, by whoever it is that you're working with. So she's right when she says, keep working hard and work harder and just keep pushing yourself, because you will be noticed. And the people who aren't pulling their weight, that will be noticed as well too.
I feel that same exact way. And I see it so often now too when I go to events. And when you get a team like that, it's very noticeable. So just keep standing out. Tinslee and Eric, do you have on this Friday evening before everybody goes out and paints the town and goes out and party, any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to leave everybody with?
I want to tell you guys, you're all doing great. I know that this is such a crazy, strange, unprecedented time, but you all are doing so wonderful. And Don't set standards for yourself that you don't feel comfortable with. If other people are out there starting businesses or, spring cleaning and redoing their house, and you are doing a good job to get out of bed and just keep yourself motivated, then that's a good win for you too. Don't compare yourself to what others are doing, and just choose something. Just choose something, one thing that you want to have come out of this that's positive. Just grow in one way. And I mean, we were just talking earlier, you don't have to form a business out of this. You don't have to change your life out of this whole situation. You might just learn how to relax and become a more relaxed person like we're trying to do, but just find something positive with this. And I just want to say you guys are all doing great. I know it's hard, but it's going to be such a fun end of the year for us. You guys have absolutely no idea what's coming. I'm trying to think about our busiest times of the season, and what's about to happen to our industry is we're going to be so busy. There's going to be so much work. Everybody is going to be ready to hit the ground running. So please just spend this time trying to keep calm. If you need help when it comes to either mental health or your finances or resources out there, if your kids are driving you nuts, just reach out to other people. We're all in this together. Reach out to us. We understand. You're in a situation that we've never been in ever really either. We were too young when 9/11 was happening we didn't have established careers or things like that we had to worry about. So we're in this with you guys, and I just want you guys to know you're doing a phenomenal job. Just keep your toes up.
Ditto.
I completely agree with you, Tinslee, and all these events that are some are canceled, but some are postponed, and postponed is good because that means that's going to happen later in the year, right? So
please value this time, you guys. You will never, ever, ever, ever have this time with your family or with yourself again.
If I could say one thing, on a lot of social media, I'm seeing people talk about, look, one of our coworkers decided he wanted to show up. Say hi, bud. If there's one thing I keep seeing is people talking about how long the month of March has felt and how long April is going to feel.
Yeah.
As we've gotten older, and Brian, I think you can attest to this, time goes by so fast. Yeah. And it goes faster and faster the older you get. So if time feels really slow right now, embrace it. Embrace each day that we have.
We're never going to get this time back, and it's a great opportunity for us all.
Gosh, I have never, the way that you just said that, Eric, is it's so true. Time is flying by, especially in the event world, and you're always thinking about what's next. And as we were talking about, as I started, it was like, here we are, quarantine, week number 63. Like, it feels like that, right?
Exactly.
And, we have an 18-month-old daughter, and it's like a blessing to just be around her and be able to spend like that quality time. Because, listen, when the lights come back on, the quality time will still be there, but there's going to be some focus elsewhere too, right?
I hope everybody values the time that we have together right now.
Yes. Well, again, thank you both so much for coming on THL. No, I'm no Carson Daly, but getting close to it every day. And let's see. Next week we got an action-packed week. Monday is big agency out of Toronto, Fervent Events. Tuesday is the Hype Agency with Dana Gilchrist. Wednesday is Grassroots Demos. Thursday, we got Edwin with Final Stretch. So he just started his company, so that'd be really interesting to hear his perspective. And then on Friday, we have Oxford Marketing. So every day we're going to do this. We'll share it out. And it's just been a lot of fun hearing the stories about companies and people that otherwise you never get to hear. So
thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. We love what you're doing and what you've done. And thank you everybody who's watched this and all your positive comments we see on the side. We're saying hello to everybody. Again, keep your heads up. We're going to get through this. We're going to come out of this stronger than ever.
Yeah, agreed. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your Friday and weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.